It is now time for my 9th season of Survivor Exile Island. I'm pretty excited about this season because I feel like Exile Island is a twist that isn't used a lot, and the way that I'm using Exile Island in this season is actually a little bit different than the traditional use of Exile Island. I think I've got a really good cast here for the 9th season, with a lot of different personalities, some of them explosive, some of them more calculated, but either way, when you kind of put some of them together, I think there's going to be some really big, interesting, and dramatic scenes. Beginning with the Floriana tribe, let's talk about Jake D. Jake is someone that I think could go really far in this game as long as he's dedicated to it. I don't think he's stupid by any stretch, but I also think that he's not necessarily ahead of the game all the time. He's a little bit quieter, a little bit more reserved, and I think that could benefit him in the end, but I'm not exactly sure. Next up, we have Ride Jam. I have no idea why he wants to be called Ride Jam, but I think there's sort of a character to be had there. With that being said, I think he is not going to lead an alliance, but he's not necessarily going to be a GOAT either. I think he could be a swing vote at one point, but I really just don't feel like he's going to be the leader of any alliance. With that being said, I think he could have a really good shot at getting far in this game based on the fact that I don't think he wants to stir any trouble, like any real trouble, but he's still aware of what's going on. Okay, and then we have Felix, who has quite the reputation on the community of group games already. He's been called things like Satan or the devil, so basically my guess is that he can still find an alliance and get pretty far, but if you're dealing with Felix, there's probably gonna be something else going on that you're not necessarily seeing, and it's gonna be fun for me to watch. Next up we have Ryan C. So Ryan is not someone that I've particularly seen, but once he applied for this game, I saw that he had a lot of potential. I think that he could go really far in the game because I think he's pretty calculated. He thinks about strategy, but he's not a game bot. He has a lot going for him, I feel like. And when he wants something, he can get it. And then there's Jimbo. Jimbo has got to be the well-rounded, all-around guy. He's good with talking to people in alliances. He's going to be good at challenges when he wants to be. He's going to be able to control his behavior inside the game, outside the game, weaved inside the game, who knows what. And I think for those reasons, he could end up at the final tribal council. Zach is kind of a question mark for me. I could see him maybe making some moves in this game, but then there's also a part of me that says he's going to be a wild card or he's not going to be a very strong player. I don't really know where to put my finger on Zach in this game. Oh, and Patrick. Patrick is kind of like Jimbo in the sense that he kind of is well-rounded within this game, but at the same time, he doesn't have self-control, I feel like. I mean, it's not like he has an entire loss of self-control, but I think there are going to be some times where his mouth is going to get him in trouble, and he's going to regret it. And that's kind of the reason why I think he's probably not going to end up winning this game, but I think he could go really, really far. And last on the Floriana tribe is Jake F. So essentially, Jake F is someone who I think is going to be a quiet person in this game compared to other individuals like Patrick. However, I think Jake is going to make some crucial decisions for other people. He's going to be a swing vote sometime down the line, but I don't think he's necessarily going to organize anything, and if he does, it won't be all the time. But I think because of these aspects of his game, he's going to do real well. Heading over to the Marchena tribe, we have first up Kelly. And let me get started on Kelly. She is just flat out not winning this game. I'm just going to tell you right now. With that being said, if she can manage to survive the first few tribal councils, someone might be smart and say, might want to keep her around. She might be useful later in the game. But she's definitely a hothead, and she's definitely a loudmouth, and I think that someone might get tired of her and vote her out. Next up, we got Eric. Eric strikes me as someone that is mischievous. He's a little deviant. I think he's going to cause some trouble where no one sees trouble coming. And it's going to be entertaining, but it's also going to break down some alliances, I feel like. I don't know if he's necessarily a physical player or not, but I think his strategic game is where it's at. Okay. The fact that Jeremy is even here is merely a miracle for him. I really do not think he's going to win this game. I don't think he's aggressive enough or aware enough to win this game. With that being said, I think he could be a loyal Alliance member, but I also think he could be a swing vote. I'm not really certain on that point. He's a wild card in this game, but I don't think he's going to be one of the contenders that go to the end. And then there is Josh. Josh is someone that I think could land into an alliance and probably tear up the game with his alliance. I don't know what he could probably do by himself, but he's definitely not stupid. I think his strategic game could be useful to him, but I think he's more of a social player, and that's really going to benefit him. And then there's Bennett. Bennett has no problem complaining about anything within anything. So, for example, had he been in some sort of alliance, he would have no problem saying, hey, let's not vote out that guy because we gotta vote out this guy. Voting out that guy would be a stupid decision. And I gotta say, I think his aggressiveness could either hurt him or really help him in the game. I think he could get close to the end, actually. At least the final 5. And then there's Colton. Colton has got to be one of the smartest people I can probably think of, and he might take this as flattering, but I think he knows when to kind of maneuver in this game. And when he's able to maneuver, unlike other people, like wiggle out of votes or get into an alliance, I think he could go really far in the game. Roman. I think Roman is very smart, but I think he's also kind of cocky. And I think eventually down the line, someone's going to want to vote out Roman because either he's a threat or they kind of see that he's probably cocky. He's definitely not outspoken. I think he's very careful with his words, but he could still come off as someone who is very arrogant, but who knows? Maybe he'll end up in the end and win the whole thing. And then we have Brittany. Brittany is someone that I think has a real good potential to get to the end of the game. I think she is a strong female contender, which we haven't necessarily had in the past. And I think she has a really good social game if she wants to put it to use, really. I don't know if she's going to let someone manipulate her, though, strategically. She's going to have to watch that. And last but not least, we have the 2 returnees. Starting off with Josh K. He's from Survivor Galapagos, and the last time he played, he was really cut off from his tribe because of the challenge that he had caused them to lose. However, what I find really horrible about his last time is that they essentially were bullying him right out of the game. So he fits the theme of Exile Island because he was essentially exiled within his tribe. He was alone, there was no one that was going to help him, nothing he could do, and then he was voted out. So this time, I think for Josh, it's being careful about challenges, and really being careful about not rubbing people the wrong way. Because immediately in Survivor Galapagos, he rubbed people the wrong way, and he had no idea. But this is a different group of people, and I think he could really land into an alliance depending on the tribe he gets on. The last returnee is Paul Meyer from Survivor Costa Rica. The thing about Paul's game last time was that he kind of made some stupid mistakes, I feel like, and then the swap obviously hurt his game. I think him selecting his tribe was kind of hit or miss. He picked some people that might have been helpful for his game, but might have not been. And since he had kind of volunteered to be in this leadership position, he was an immediate target from day one. But also, after the switch, he just wasn't able to secure the numbers, and after his alliance member left, he was all alone. No one was going to help him. Well, I mean, someone gave him the illusion that he was going to get help, but no one was really, truly going to help him. This time around, Paul has got to really hone the leadership position in another way, because he's not going to be able to avoid that since he's a returnee. But also, I think if he can just get himself into a really good alliance and show them what he's all about, give them a piece of him, his social game, his strategic game, I think he could really be a contender in this game and no longer be sort of exiled. The one thing to watch out for is Exile Island this season. With the ability to find the hidden immunity idol, send people from the other tribe there to be able to potentially either keep them safe or have them be a target later on down the road, it's a huge point of strategy that could really affect this game and produce some high tensions.